Back like bra straps, it is the Trying to Be Grown podcast. I am your host, Damani Carter, with my esteemed co-host, Mr. Byron Keaton. You don't like that one?
Bro, these get worse every week.
I stole that from somebody else. I stole that from Voch Lombardi, another YouTuber out there. But I thought
so
that
we
was
stealing content now?
No.
Come on, man. We better than that, Damani.
It's just creative borrowing. And I gave him credit. I immediately gave him credit.
Nah, bro. You tried to start it off like that was yours.
No, I didn't.
You better
If I give somebody else credit for it in the next 30 seconds, then I feel like I'm not. Anyways, wherever you rocking with us, we appreciate you rocking with us. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you at. Appreciate you for tuning in. Byron, how was your week, man?
It was a good week. Pretty busy as always, but it's starting to slow up. Finals right around the corner. Life's good though.
Okay.
Had a little bit of snow, which I don't know why that's happening in almost May at this point, but
weather's crazy.
It's global warming, bro.
But I've noticed we take a little bit different approaches to our academics. You actually do things and work hard, which is weird to me because I do nothing academically. I
had a joke, but I don't think I should say it about why you don't have to do nothing.
The most minimalist approach possible towards doing my academic work, and I just skate. And that's kind of the way I do things.
How would your mom feel about that?
Oh, she hates it with a passion. But I mean, she's hated it for a long time.
That's messed up. Supposed to be obedient.
No, but I mean, if it's easy enough and I can do it, why not?
But wouldn't it save you more time in the end because you would have done it early and then just
nope.
You can chill.
If I do it early, then I'll stress about doing it right. If I give myself 50 minutes to do an assignment, it don't matter how long the assignment is, I will get it done in that 50 minutes.
But it might not be done right. It's not about who did it first. It's about who did it right.
I know, but I have to, and not to. This is gonna bridge my humility a little bit, but I just kind of have a natural inclination towards academic work, so it's not hard. It's not hard to me.
You know who said my quote?
I don't care who said your quote.
You know who.
I'm saying if you give me really anything academic that I know how to do, easy, just clicks. I've always had that.
Is your new school easier or harder than your previous school?
I don't have to get into all that. We got
talking about school and school work.
I know what I'm saying. I don't want to privilege one institution over another. College is college.
Okay.
And it's great. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. Put the graphic on the screen, Byron, because it's time for your favorite segment, my favorite segment. It's time for Byron's Hot Takes. Hopefully I am pointing at the thing right now. If I'm not pointing at it, it is his fault.
Mm-hmm.
You got an interesting hot take about the music industry that we discussed earlier this week. Do you know what I'm talking about now?
I have no idea.
Oh, you don't know? You don't? Okay. Well, we had I'd probably say a 2 or 3 hour textual argument about this because Byron
thinks, one I cooked you in.
Byron thinks that the sole evaluative characteristic
I'm gonna let you get your little point
that music should be measured by is sales or streams.
Consumption.
Okay, just there we go. Just consumption.
Consumption.
Just consumption. And you think that the only way that you determine what is good in the music industry, or just in music in general, is who is consuming it, the quantity of consumption. Would you like to go ahead and expand on that a little bit? Because sure. I'd hate to put words in your mouth.
Sure, no problem. So first, at the end of the day, you have to understand why music is made.
Mm-hmm.
Music is made for people to hear it, people to consume it. I understand some people say, I make the music for myself, but at the end of the day, they still want to monetize it, in which that's what every single... Look at all the rappers come from the beginning. They're talking about being on the come up to get money based on consumption.
Oh, from the beginning?
Yeah, if you look at the beginning of most rappers' career, what are they talking about? The come up.
No, but I'm talking
are they talking about the come up? Yes or no?
I'm not. You said the beginning, so I'm going back to the late '70s and going to the example that I gave earlier in this podcast.
Music don't even count on my side.
Excuse me. But I think this is going to tie in well. I was going to bring this up later, anyways, but you kind of led me into it. So you had a movement in rap which is I figure it's your favorite style of music. It's my favorite style of music. Would you say it's your favorite style of music?
Yes, but rap is broken down. There's a lot of different genres within rap. I just want to get that out.
I know, but I'm just I'm talking about
but
the
overall,
beginning.
sure,
I'm
rap.
talking about the beginnings of the field as a whole. Beginning of the field as a whole. You had a bunch of people that were just building a culture and just creating a field of being in music that was based on just what I'd say were the integral elements of rap at the time.
Sure.
And then you had a group that monetized those elements, and everybody in the rap community was like, "What are y'all doing?" But everybody come on, dog. I know that you're not the rap historian, but come on.
I'm joking, bro. Take a joke.
No, you're not.
That was good. They had a good song though back in the day. That was probably like 90s though.
Probably 90s.
Probably 90s. Probably early 90s.
I
would say mid 90s, mid to early 90s, maybe late 80s.
I understand you're not the rap historian of the group, but please just don't talk about anything that happened before 2000.
Yeah, because I really don't listen to it. But I don't care for it.
But I'm saying there was that group, and I won't name them, but they came out and they did a whole bunch of stuff that everybody was already doing, but they just made it commercial.
Okay.
And put a little bit of their own spin on it, but just basically just bridged off the ideas of everybody else, and everybody in the rap community said, "What are y'all doing?"
Yeah. Okay.
So I think you have an integral, and I think this applies outside of rap, because you have like music, and then you have the commercial element of music, and it seems like the commercial element is all that's important to you, and I think that's divorcing from the whole purpose of just looking and trying to evaluate music.
So, this is what I would say. In general, maybe not. To just look at the commercial aspect. But when you... Wait. Can I get my point out?
I didn't even say nothing.
You were trying to get all...
Because it just...
Wait. Just let me get to it. You will understand what I'm saying. When you
start... You address me. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When you start getting into this elite categories in which you are some of the top people in the game, whether it's in pop, whether it's in rap, things like that. You're all at the same level, like skill-wise and things like that. I think that is when you can bring in the other element of, okay, both people are putting out great music, this and that. Who is better? And then I think that is when you have to key in on the consumption piece, because at the end of the day, music is being made to consume. Whether you just listen to it in your car, whether you intentionally play, well, I guess they're still in the car, but like, whether you want to listen to that music, is what I'm saying. More people want to listen to that music. So when you get to the points where you were like the Kendrick Lamars, the Drakes, the J. Coles, something has to be able to separate them. You can't just do it based on their lyrics. You can't just do it based on platinum albums. Just about every single one of their albums are going to go platinum. One way you can objectively look at this is say, who is being more consumed?
That is one way that you can look at
it. And that's what I'm saying.
That's
why I think that is the best way to do it, because at the end of the day, music is being made to consume. There's a way to actually look at the consumption of music. Why not do it that way? To objectively look and say, who is better?
I think this is the best way that I can put this is I'm going to quote Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z. I know you don't listen to Jay-Z, so I'm going to give you...
Jay-Z fan,
I know, but I'm going to give you some lyrics. But if skill sold, truth be told, I'd probably be lyrically Talib Kweli. So when he references another rapper that is kind of from a different scene than himself, that just has a different aesthetic and has kind of just a general underground element to his music that isn't evident in a lot of Jay-Z's stuff that went huge. But he recognized in doing that there is a commercial element to the game. And you appealing to that commercial element does not necessarily say that the quality of your music is better. It means that it fits within the box of commercialism better. And he said, "I'm
letting you get your little 2 cents out. I'm gonna let you get your little 2 cents."
Nah, bro, you can go ahead. I see you itching, so I'm just gonna.
I just have one question. When was Jay-Z's prime?
Jay-Z is interesting. I think he's an interesting.
No, don't just give me a straight up answer. I don't care about all the extra stuff.
But
when was his prime?
Byron, I just asked you a yes or no question and you expanded on it. I have to give an expanded answer. I can't talk to that.
I don't think you need an expanded answer.
Yes, you do. But I think it's interesting because if you look at just the longevity of Jay-Z's career, there's a lot of periods where I think there are people that had individual bigger years than him. Because if we look at the 50 Cent and Kanye stuff, when they was going back and forth, I'd say that year they bigger than Jay. Oh, yeah. Eminem drops the Marshall Mathers LP, and I'm not even talking about the quality of Eminem because I'm definitely taking Jay over Eminem. I think that Jay-Z is the best rapper of all time. But when we look at how many years somebody else was probably the biggest in the game, it's a bunch of them that either the argument is there or I'd say it's pretty decided that they had bigger years from Jay-Z, but he was so constant in being there. With the Blueprints, you got to look at the Black Album, and just going all the way back to having a stretch that he had.
There's multiple things I'm gonna have to say about what you just said, but continue.
But I'm just looking at the whole stretch, like looking at the entirety of his career. It's amazing. It's amazing as a whole. So when you ask about his prime, I say that it's hard to define because there's a long period in there. It's a long period in there.
Yeah, so I'll talk about the music piece first on this.
Okay, please do.
So first, as you stated, there was a lot of times throughout his so-called prime or throughout his career where he wasn't the best.
I said he wasn't the biggest. I don't think
he was. Okay, so in the early 90s when he was rapping, was he bigger than Tupac or Biggie?
No.
Okay, so he wasn't then. And so they had their run until about 96 until they both passed, and then still they put out albums and stuff after the fact. And I still wouldn't say Jay was bigger than them then.
I wouldn't either.
Okay, so that gives you about 97 until when Kanye hit the scene. And 50 Cent.
I mean, 50 Cent hit the scene before Kanye did, but Kanye hit the scene in probably
2006.
No, it was definitely before that because. Trying to think of what came out before that, because you got the College Dropout came out, Graduation came out. After that, what came out before College Dropout? When did his first album come out? I want to say it was like 02, 03.
So 04 right? Is College Dropout.
04. Okay, so first album was 04.
So that's what I'm saying.
Black Album came out in 2001 though. That's perfectly in the middle.
Okay.
And I think of the golden era of rap that we talk about in the 90s, I think you extend that to like 88 and extend it to the Black Album in 2001. And then you really get
and 50 Cent album dropped in 2000.
Which one?
Get Rich or Die Trying.
Get Rich or Die Trying?
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
It was
2003. My bad.
Yeah, there's no way.
I was about to say, but yeah. So you got 2 years, maybe 3 years, Jay-Z at the top.
Okay. Well,
I'm saying like the very top to where nobody's really questioning whether he's the best. And even during that time, you still got Eminem in there.
But I'm saying that's in terms of sales.
And so Eminem wasn't barring people up back then?
I'm not saying that he wasn't
barring
people up.
That's what I'm saying.
But you have to look at if we want to talk skill, first and foremost, you got to look at just what Jay-Z was doing metaphorically at this time and what he was
Go ahead. I didn't say nothing to Money. I didn't say a word. You got it.
I would sit here and spit Jay-Z lyrics all day if you want. I would spit them back and forth with you. And I understand that. I understand that. But you're talking about Eminem barring people up, and I'm just talking about
I'm not an Eminem fan.
Obviously, you're not an Eminem fan, but I'm saying they're both exceptional in terms of the lyrical elements. But I can give you stuff that I say, okay, I think Jay-Z is better in this category. Though Eminem was kind of nice with, not kind of nice. Eminem was dumb nice with the wordplay.
Yeah, I'm saying lyrically, I'm gonna have to give Eminem that.
No.
Jay-Z probably had a better flow because I don't like Eminem flow, but lyrics, Eminem was kind of he was wild with his stuff.
I know, but I'm saying he wasn't talking about nothing. And it's still incredible what he could do with the words.
I don't know.
Still incredible what he could do with the words. And if you look at, I can't even say he wasn't talking about.
Let's talk about the longevity of Eminem. What's something everybody uses today with Stan? This is a blah 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 Stan account.
I know, but that's really
what you got. What Jay-Z got like that?
That's his terminology, though.
He created that.
I'm saying that's just terminology. We don't play the song like that no more.
People play that song still, bro.
No, they don't.
I don't listen to it.
I cannot tell you the last time I heard Stan played anywhere. And I'm not saying it's not a great song, but I don't think the song has had as much longevity as the term. And I don't think that's even an argument.
I don't know, man. Also, I see you discuss longevity right here.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about maybe he wasn't always the very best in the world, but...
Not the very best. In terms of sales.
He wasn't the biggest or he wasn't blah, blah, blah. But it was just the amount of time that he did that. I think I need to bring in something... I need to bring in something similar to this within basketball.
Can I stop you?
No, I got to bring this within basketball.
Can I ask you about a difference between basketball and music?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. That's fine.
I'll let you get your little two.
I'll
let you get yours out, and let me just say my piece.
Go ahead.
Somebody else been doing it for an unprecedented time, only comparable to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Karl Malone. And honestly, this person been doing it better than Karl Malone, and somewhat, I would honestly say a little bit better than Kareem. Even though Kareem got a Finals MVP at like 37 or something like that, something wild like that. 36 or 37? No, I think it was 37. Like LeBron wasn't the oldest, but I think if you want to credit that in music, talking about nobody's ever done anything like that for that long, you got to do the same thing in basketball.
Okay, so if I'm literally just, I wasn't even talking about skill in terms of saying he was the biggest at that time. I was just talking about popularity. So if we look at how one becomes popular in the music industry, I just want to turn your attention to Lil Pump, because Lil Pump is terrible. And I'm sorry if he's watching this, but no, Lil Pump not watching. Obviously,
Lil Pump is not watching.
That was a joke. That was a joke. But I'm saying, Lil Pump was never good at making music.
Correct.
And he was extremely popular for a very small period of time.
No,
come on, dog. He was on SNL.
He wasn't extremely popular.
Come on, dog. How do you get on Saturday Night Live as a musical guest and not be popular?
Just have a one-hit wonder.
Come on, dog. But I'm saying,
if you have one big song, you can get on SNL.
Even if you're a one-hit wonder, I'm saying he was done popular for that little bit of time when everybody was doing not everybody.
But honestly, even when his song was popular, everybody was saying the song was trash when they were talking about it.
Not everybody, obviously.
A majority of the people are saying that song is trash. Like, it's catchy, but it's trash.
Okay.
Like,
if you're saying the majority of people were saying that it was trash, why was people listening to it?
People listen to. I listened to it as a joke.
Oh, you listened to it as a joke?
Yeah.
Did you play it in the car with us?
To make y'all mad.
Oh, okay. I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
You downloaded it to your Spotify just to make.
Actually, I didn't download the song. You can go on my Spotify right now and have the song.
Of course, you don't have it now, but okay. We getting way off topic. But just going back to why I brought him up. Popularity in music versus ability to play basketball, you were in totally different realms. Those are totally different conversations. You're trying to bridge two things.
I was just talking about the longevity, because you were talking about in music how hard it is to have that type of longevity. It's extremely to have that type of longevity in basketball as well. That's the bridge I was trying to make.
And I've given Bron credit for doing that, but when we're talking about the best player, I think that sometimes if you have a year where it's amazing, then I don't think that can necessarily put you in the best player conversation, because I think people like, and of course we probably wouldn't be discussing Penny as one of the best anyways, but I'm saying, like,
we wouldn't. I know we wouldn't.
Anyways, Penny's 3-4 year run. We always talk about what it could have been if he didn't get hurt, and where he would be amongst the pantheon of greats. But it was not that great a run compared to everybody else's, and we understand that it was derailed by injury, but it wasn't long enough for us to put him in that conversation. And I'm
Bill Walton.
Not Bill Walton. But looking at longevity, I think that if a player was doing it really, really well for a very, very long time, and another player was doing it really, really well for a shorter period of time, but still a very significant period of time, then we can compare.
This man took a break.
Stop.
To re-energize, bro. And I love
re-energize?
Yeah.
To re-energize?
He said he was mentally and physically drained.
Byron.
That's all I'm saying.
He changed his body to play a different sport. Did he say he was mentally and physically drained? Did he change his body to play a different sport?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think it's probably pretty hard to get all the way from being a basketball player to convert to a baseball body and to get back to a basketball body? You think that's pretty difficult to do? You think that's a little bit more than re-energizing in that period?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. And he just said that he.
You act like he wasn't an elite athlete, bro.
That is a.
You wasn't like he wasn't an elite athlete.
Blasphemous lie. Because you do not love.
You act like he wasn't an athlete. not just an elite athlete, one of the best athletes to ever do.
Among other elite athletes, fool.
Yeah, but I'm saying his athleticism is like in a different tier. You can't act like if Michael Jordan would have never changed his body and still went on the baseball field, he still would have some of the best athleticism compared to anybody out there.
But I'm saying if you have,
he made some tweaks to his body, but I'm saying they weren't. I'm not saying they were just super significant. Maybe only thing I would say his cardio would have been different.
We didn't even. I don't know where we stand on the whole music thing.
Yeah,
you took us totally off topic.
Yeah,
you took us totally off topic.
Don't talk about longevity and then try to make someone the GOAT in something, and then you do the same thing in other.
Music and basketball are different conversations.
Similar. Longevity is hard to do.
They're similar in some areas, but
Yeah.
if we're just talking about the length with which that you do something,
okay.
those are different realms.
Okay, let's get back to the original topic. Let's get off of that because we're not going to agree on that.
Get back to it.
When we were talking about the music industry, and I was talking about consumption, who did you bring up saying that they had more of?
I didn't say anything. I said if you're saying that consumption is the only thing.
You said say Taylor Swift is better than Drake. That's
exactly what I said.
And then did you find any statistical backing for that statement? Is my only question for you today.
It depends on how you
yes or no. Yes or no. Don't do that.
It depends on how you, does she have albums that have outsold Drake albums?
Sure.
Okay. So could that reference exactly what I'm talking about? Could that reference exactly?
I was talking about the total consumption.
You never said that before. You said that after. And
my first statement was
I engaged you in the conversation after, but you never referenced total consumption. I was just saying that
I said the consumption of that person's music. So we're just gonna pick and choose what type of music, whether it's music that drops on Tuesday, music that dropped in March of 2013 or something.
You didn't cite a specific time. You never cited a specific time.
So if I never cited a specific time,
it would make sense. Yes,
it would make sense.
It would make sense for that assumption to be correct, right? It would make sense for that assumption to be correct. But what I was talking about was just looking at individual stuff. And I told you,
Drake hater.
No,
I'm convinced you're a Drake hater at this point.
Drake is in my top 3. Drake is in my top 3. I love Drake.
You a hater, bro.
I mess with Drake heavily. But no, the thing I'm not going to do is sit here and give you credit and just say that, oh, Drake is the most streamed, he's the most listened to, therefore he's the best. That's stupid. That's dumb. Because if you look at the album that you think is the best from Drake and look at Eminem's Marshall Mathers LP,
okay,
then
let's talk about that.
Is different. And the Marshall Mathers LP is going to be higher than Drake. Okay. And that's okay.
You done?
You realize that.
Okay. Now I have a question. When was Marshall Mathers that album dropped?
01, 02.
I think it was 2000 actually.
Oh, my bad. I was a year off. I was a year off. Thank you.
The year 2000.
Thank you.
When was Drake's album dropped? Nothing was the same?
2013?
It was 2013.
Okay.
And what does Spotify do? One of the biggest contributors in developing the streaming industry, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And when did they launch start their company and become?
When did they launch?
2011.
2011.
So, 2000. Typically, with music, within the first 10 years is when you're going to get to your most actual album sales. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. Drake's album dropped in 2013. Mm-hmm. Streaming becomes big in basically the 2010s the 2010s. Mm-hmm. So, in the middle of Drake's release, streaming is blowing up. No, I didn't interrupt you when you were going on your little rant, so put you in there.
Okay, I'm saying I have an interjection that's going to fit really well right there, but go ahead. Just go ahead.
So, 2013. So, within Drake's dropping, he has to worry about album sales, and he also has to worry about streams. Mm-hmm. The problem is, they still don't know how streams work, actually making them equivalent to album sales. They try to make it work, but people that are actually knowledgeable within the music industry have stated that they have still not bridged that gap to actually make it make sense. Mm-hmm. They're doing things such as giving people 0.0, I think it's a fourth or a sixth of a cent per stream, where they're we really think that's probably too low at this point, in which one song being played should be worth blah, blah, I can't remember the exact numbers, but they're saying it should be worth more than that. And so if you do these stream stuff, it's actually not equivalent to album sales. And therefore, we even saw that, I think in 2020, Marshall Mathers had finally surpassed 1.5 billion streams. Drake's Nothing Was the Same surpassed 1.9 billion streams in 2018.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Okay, so if we just look at the first week sales, just look at the first week.
Yeah.
How Marshall Mathers do compared to Nothing Was the Same?
It did better, but why?
Oh, we can look at, if we look at the total.
So we're talking about it?
No, if we look at the total number of people that were streaming on Spotify at that time, I'm betting we could find those figures. You want to find those figures?
Sure.
Okay, and if the figures indicate that the Marshall Mathers LP outperformed significantly, Nothing Was the Same, are you going to say that that was the better album? Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I can explain why.
It makes sense.
You want me to explain why?
It's really sensible.
You want me to explain why?
It doesn't matter.
Because okay, with the internet age, they developed streaming why, Damani? Because in the late 2000s, people started finding new ways, well, with the internet, they had all these different ways to actually pirate music. Such as things like LimeWire, which I know you've used before. Mm-hmm. And what you do on LimeWire, Damani?
Was pirated music not popping in 2001?
Not to the extent that it was in the late 2000s.
God. No, you can't be serious, bro. You can't be serious. You can't be serious.
The internet had just developed.
No, there was a whole sting operation where they were literally going to stores and saying, "Hey,
Damani,
y'all took this, y'all took this, y'all took this, y'all took this." It was so easy to pirate music back then. It was just not being done in an internet sense. So when you're talking about LimeWire,
they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it to the same extent and widespread as they were with LimeWire and things like that. Napster, all that type of stuff. They was out here pirating music like crazy in the late 2000s. Late 2000s, early 2010s, in which they finally had a complete lockdown on all that. I know that upset you, but that's the truth, man. Don't come at me.
No, but
don't come at me.
Byron, you're acting like if we're talking about the pirated music industry as a whole, they were setting up sting operations to break people.
So they weren't setting up sting operations to do the same thing?
I'm not going to raise my voice.
They weren't doing sting operations in the late. They weren't doing more sting operations in the late 2000s?
I'm not going to raise my voice.
Huh?
They weren't doing more? They
literally had a whole entire lawsuit just to stop LimeWire from going.
But I'm saying those were websites, Byron. I'm talking about people were going and breaking down doors.
Okay, now Damani, I have a question.
Going into stores and saying, y'all stole this, y'all stole this, y'all stole this, y'all stole this. And
which one do you think was more widespread? A store where you can only sell to people within that vicinity, or something that you could literally transfer music from right here in Fayetteville, Arkansas, all the way to Africa or all the way in California, just like that? Which one is more widespread?
Byron.
The one within that maybe has 100,000 people, depending on which city you're in, or something that can go to 30 million people in the U.S.
It was every city. That's the point.
So if this is going, I made this little disc, I can make 200 of them. So that's 200 discs compared to 2 million. That's not the same. Look at the units with that. Byron. Are you serious, Damani?
Byron, you're talking about a something that was very widespread, and you're talking about something that has internet ubiquity. So that's the conversation that we're having. But put it to you this way. If I can find a Walmart in just about every city and I can go to that Walmart versus going to Walmart.com, we're talking about the same type of availability. We're talking about the same type of availability.
You're not.
And we're looking at pirated music? You're looking at the same type of availability.
Okay, but listen. To go to Walmart, you still have to get it the first time. With pirated music, they weren't even doing it that the first time. They just had other ways to get in which they would download something off of a server and then one person download going to 20 million. Whereas you got to go to each Walmart in each city. There has to be one person. It was literally one person dispersing the 20 million compared to how many Walmarts you take? Let's say there's...
How many Walmart.coms are there, fool? That's the point. That's the point that I was making. There's one Walmart.com where everybody can go to buy stuff. And there's Walmarts everywhere where people can go to buy stuff. That's what I'm saying.
Was Walmart.com even like that back then?
You don't get the point that I'm making, fool. I'm saying in terms of relative availability, I can get to a Walmart.com from here. I can drive for 10 minutes and get to a Walmart. In terms of relative availability, they're both really, really available. That's the point. That's the point.
But my point is the starting point of that. Just because you can get to a Walmart, okay, so there's 100,000 Walmarts in the U.S. Let's just say that's the number. I don't know if that's right or wrong. 100,000 Walmarts in the U.S. To actually get the first disc out, you have to buy at least 100,000 copies. With LimeWire, one website, one person could buy one disc. Then that one disc go to the whole entire United States. Do you not see the difference between 100,000 and one? That is my point. I understand that your point saying the availability of it, but I'm talking about the actual cost of it at the end of the day.
So if I buy one, right? How many copies can I make off that one?
However many you want, but you're only going to be able to get to the people around you.
Mm-hmm. So I gotta buy one.
Yep.
And then somebody in another city.
Another Walmart has to buy one.
Okay, somebody at another Walmart has to buy one.
Yep.
And then they can get it out to everybody
around their city.
Somebody at another Walmart has to buy one, and then they can get it to every Walmart around there.
Yep.
So just one disc for every city in the United States.
Yep.
And then everybody else in the city can have it. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
All right. Let me look at the number of cities in the United States.
Yep.
We'll just go ahead. We'll subtract that from the total.
Yeah.
And see how much. And
then also we have to.
We'll see how much we end up with.
Yeah. Then
let's see how many cities there are.
Yeah.
Let's see how many
you look up the cities, and also I need to say this. So in the cities such as Houston, New York, LA, things like that.
We'll give them 3. How about that? We'll give them 3.
So 3 is going to be able to disperse to over 1 million people.
We'll give them 3 discs. No, I don't think it's going to be able to disperse over to 1 million people. I'm just saying it because
that's not realistic.
Because it's so dumb.
That's not
because
realistic.
It's so dumb that you would even bring it up.
You know that's not realistic. That 3 people can make enough copies to disperse to every single person in LA. They're going to have to make. So think about how much time that's going to take to make 3 million copies of one CD. Think about that, Damani. Please explain that to me.
You don't seem to be understanding. So I'm just going.
I understand the availability part, but I'm talking about the feasibility of it. Let's talk about the feasibility. That's just what I'm talking about. How easy was it for someone to transfer music over on LimeWire to 20 million people compared to transfer music through a CD disc to 20 million people? Which one is easier to do? Which one is easier to do?
It's easier to do it on LimeWire.
Thank you. That's all I need to hear.
Okay, it's easier to do it, right? It's easier to do it. So check this out. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we've made easier to do today, genius, that people have been doing forever. And it doesn't mean that people are going to do it in greater quantity because it's easier. That's not necessarily how things work. Because it's really easy to drink water now. It's really easy to get access to water. But I'm pretty sure if we look back forever that people have been drinking water. Don't you think that? Don't you think that? So if we're talking about pirated music, and the availability of pirated music, people that wanted pirated music back then could get it. People that want pirated music now can get it. People that wanted pirated music in 2007 through 2013 could get it. And that's my point. You don't seem to be getting that.
My point,
you don't seem to be getting that.
Okay, I understand that. My point is, from like 2006 to about 2013, people were pirating music just because. They're like, there's no other way to get music at this point. People were just literally downloading LimeWire just to get music.
Okay.
They weren't even buying music anymore.
Who was buying on iTunes then? Who was buying on iTunes? Nobody was buying on iTunes?
Rich people buying on iTunes.
All right, you got it. You heard it here first. Only rich people was buying on iTunes. That's it. We're done. We're done with this. We got to move on to something else.
Who's buying on iTunes?
We got to buy. Just rich people. Just rich people.
How much music
Bill
did you
Gates
buy
was
on
buying
iTunes?
half of it. Bill Gates
How
was
much
buying half
music
of
did you
it.
buy on iTunes?
I bought a bunch of stuff on iTunes because my mom found out about LimeWire. No, my mom found out about LimeWire. I bought it with her money, and my mom found out about LimeWire.
So you were spending $1.99 per song?
No, I wasn't rich, Byron. As a matter of fact,
so you spent $1.99 per song.
Bill Gates bought up all the songs. Bill Gates bought up all the songs.
I bet he did.
Elon Musk wasn't even rich at that time, so he was LimeWiring back then.
So you was paying $1.99 per song. You paying $1.99?
Elon Musk was on LimeWire.
What are you paying $1.99 per song?
We're done.
Can you answer that question?
You see, this is why you want to stay on here because you know that point is stupid, and you just said it.
So you was paying $1.99 per song.
You the one that said it. I wasn't rich. No, I wasn't rich. No.
I know you, because I know for the most part everybody had 1,000 songs in their music library. So if you do $1.99 per song, no, you wasn't doing that, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
You wasn't. I know I'm right. You wasn't doing
banking
that.
like that.
I know you weren't.
Wasn't banking
Little
like
sixth
that.
grade Damani out here trying to sell Skittles to everybody. Wasn't buying $1.99 per song.
Wasn't banking like that. You was though, so I'd be surprised if you wasn't buying on iTunes.
I wasn't buying on
your
iTunes.
Ripstick in your 3-car garage.
Hey, I did have a Ripstick.
Anyway,
you ever fall on the Ripstick?
No. Can we get on to something else, please?
Sure.
You have thoroughly angered me.
Go ahead then, man. Go ahead.
Jesus.
Talk about what you need to talk about.
Nah, you got the.
No, you got it, bro. Got your blood pressure up a little bit?
A little bit. That's that.
You gotta grow up, man.
No, it's just I can't stand stupidity. So when you do stupid things,
you gotta grow up, bro.
Really gets to me. So I guess it's kind of a good segue into the next topic. So we're gonna talk a little bit about toxic masculinity.
We already talked about this, bro.
No, we talked
about toxic traits. That's the same thing, bro.
Toxic masculinity and toxic traits are not the
same thing.
I don't know.
What's different?
Toxic masculinity is just the general thing that we as I don't know if that's the way. I think it's a societal thing. That,
you don't even know what it is.
No, I know what it is. I'm just thinking of a way to describe it to somebody that has a knowledge base like yours, which you just showed. But looking at how society influences men to be and the problematic elements within that a lot of men show. And I think that there's definitely some elements a little bit. We ain't banking like that. We got a little bit of a makeshift studio. But looking at elements of your personality, I think, would you say that you're a prideful person?
Define prideful.
Okay, well, that's a yes. And I think I am too.
In some areas. I wouldn't say in all areas. In some areas. Some things I take to heart and depend on who I'm with.
Did you say that you take stuff to heart around me sometimes?
Not really. You
Not
don't
really?
No. You are way more prideful than I am.
I don't think that that's even remotely true.
Look at the last episode. We're talking about, oh, if my wife's making more money than me, we're going to have to live within my means.
But,
that's prideful.
Okay, so are we just going to go back and forth on the prideful things that we've done? Because you were down 3-0 in the best out of 5. We don't even have to discuss the competition. You were down 3-0 in the best out of 5.
Do we have 2 games left? If long we had 2 games left, you got to go to the end.
You making my point for me. I don't understand why you even talking
also,
about it.
I threw out one of them games because you cheated.
Okay, all right.
You said I ain't never played this sport before, then out there done played before.
You said I said I wasn't gonna get into the specifics.
I'm just saying you lied that day. You didn't tell the truth. You weren't honest.
One of these days we're gonna have somebody that was there on to talk about this. But we had what I called the Negro Olympics. What was it, 3 years ago? 2 years ago? Memory just came up.
I think it was 4.
Definitely wasn't 4. But
I really think it was.
Byron said that he was a better, just overall athlete than me, and the way
he threw out all the sports I wanted to do. I tried to do track. He said, "Nope, you can't do track. You faster than me." I tried to do baseball.
I said if you do track, then we just gonna do weightlifting, and I'm gonna beat you at everything in there because I'm.
I said okay.
Anyway.
And then look, I tried to do baseball. You're like, "No, you don't play baseball before."
You feel like you explaining this like kind of aggressively right now?
Then so you said we can do tennis. Neither one of us have played. And then it turned out Damani had played multiple games of tennis before. He had played multiple games.
Probably 8 at that point.
Okay, and guess how many I played, people? 0.
And you had,
zilch.
And you had never kicked a soccer ball before in your
life.
Correct.
I never played soccer in my life.
No, you
either.
said that you had never kicked a soccer ball.
I never kicked a soccer ball before then either. I grew up in Camden, Arkansas. We didn't have soccer. And this man was out here acting like he was Lionel Messi, how much he had been playing.
So you, at 22 years old,
had never kicked a soccer ball. I kicked a kickball, not a soccer ball. It's different.
I see what I be talking about. But we getting off topic again.
You're a prideful person.
I understand that, but I was going to use this to transition into something else. But you're just so combative that we can't get to no topics because
I'll sit back and let you take the lead. Go ahead, then, sir.
And I think that my pridefulness is what plays into most of like my, I'd say, toxic masculine traits.
Yeah.
And I get, just to give an example, when dealing with the opposite sex in most things, I will try to, and I don't think there's anything wrong with showing just the general respect that we were taught to show women, you know, like opening doors, doing stuff like that. But I'll try to, I'll say, like, put it this way: if we go out to eat, and really it don't matter who it is. Like if it's like obviously
a friend,
if it's my
girl,
just
like a random friend.
Yeah, but if it's my girl, if it's friend, I'll try to pay. Like I'll try to pay for.
Why don't you pay for my food?
Because you not. That's what I'm saying.
That's messed up.
No, that's not how that works. But just looking at like little stuff like that, and I don't think that. And it's just recently been brought to my attention that some of the things that I do in that area could be seen as problematic. I think that just wanting to occupy the traditional male role in some of those interactions could be an expression of my toxic masculinity. And I think you do it, but I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you talk about it.
Because I don't really know about mine. I honestly have no idea. I'm blinded by it, I guess. Like, I have blinders on to which things that I do that may be considered toxic masculinity, things along those lines, I can't see it, personally. That's where I feel like I am in that situation. My question is, why do you feel the need to do those things? Such as, why do you feel the need to pay in those situations? Even though it's not your girlfriend, it's not anything like that. But
No, I'm saying if it is my girl, I want to do the same thing. But if
like usually, if it's just a friend that you haven't seen in a while, happens to be a girl, you still feel the need to pay. Why?
It could be like I don't think I have like a complex about it or anything. I just think it's the
Manly thing to do?
yeah. For lack of a better term, because I mean it's not really chivalry because it doesn't matter if I'm like romantically interested because that I just took that out of it, and I think that's it could be belittling, and I could see that. Like if I was in the opposite position.
You think I'm not independent? I can't pay for my own stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think that's necessarily the assumption.
That's messed up.
The assumption that everybody takes. But I'm just saying, me as a prideful person, if I was in the other like position, and somebody just, and obviously there are other scenarios. People have paid for me before, but I'm just saying.
Did you feel like a little?
No, I'm saying if it's a scenario just like that, like no expectations. There's no like specific. Like big wage gap between the two of us that would indicate one of us should pay and the other one should. I don't know. I think that I would think about it and think, oh, you don't think I can pay for myself? That's how I would think about it.
Okay, so I got a question. Is it weird that you would have to say before that, oh, we would like 2 checks, and that's why you just do the 1 check thing and want to pay? Because saying 2 checks is, I know some people feel a little weird about, yeah, we'll take 2 checks over here, please. Some people feel weird about saying that because then they haven't talked to the other person about who paying and things like that, so they just take on their role of either take 2 checks and if you want me to pay for it, I can then, or just skip that and say, hey, 1 check, I'll pay for it, to just like feel good about themselves.
I can see that. I'm trying to think of a better example. I don't know why, but that's always the one that comes to my mind. Because I don't like, obviously, if we're in mixed company and there's something that somebody needs to take the lead on, like a decision that needs to be made, I'll usually defer to other people, male or female, in that. So it doesn't really matter. I feel like it shows up every once in a while, and I think that interesting question for you. Do we as men have a responsibility to check that when we out, like when we just? Do you think that we should check and make sure that we are not exhibiting this, or do we have to wait for somebody to tell us to do it? Because I think we got to check it.
See, I'm torn on that.
Why you say that?
Because this is what I'm thinking of. Okay, first I'll explain why I would say no. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if this is the right answer. I would say no because for the most part you don't know. A lot of times you don't know what's considered toxic and things like that. But what I think going back to is like with racism. We expect people to know what is considered racist and what is not considered racist. And so we expect people to have those, understand like what those biases are. And so that's why I'm like torn between saying, no, you shouldn't because you technically don't really know. And then, yes, you should because you should know. And so that's why I don't know. That's why I'm like, I really don't know. But but my other thing is, I don't know if you can compare that to racism. But I know some people will say that you can.
In certain aspects, I think you don't have to create an equivalence between the two to compare them. I think if you want to say that, a 6-year-old on a football field looks like Tyreek Hill, you can make comparisons without saying that the two are equivalent. So I think that's okay. But looking at, I think racism is a good comparison in this. I know that I don't want to have to tell people, I feel like you shouldn't say that because, not only because it makes me uncomfortable, just because it's messed up of you to say.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to have to tell people that.
Yeah.
There's been situations where I had to tell people that, and it was uncomfortable for the both of us. But I think that just in terms of making environments inclusive and just best for the people around me, I think that when I feel those inklings that, hey, you might be, just doing a little bit of the classic male bravado thing here, mm-hmm. then I think that me checking it is better. And as I get into positions where I have a better lens for checking it, obviously I think that that's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
Because I think if you internalize it and make it something that you do versus something that somebody always has to say, hey, check yourself. That's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I think it's the better option. That's just me. But another question for you. Should we as men be checking our homeboys when they do it?
That's a good question. Sure. I'm going to go with yeah.
Doesn't sound.
You should always want the people around you to do better, whether you can do it yourself or not. I think if you see something they're doing wrong, call it out. Call it out. Okay. I try to do that with y'all, but y'all, I know how y'all get. Y'all live y'all own life.
Why are you putting it on me? Like
I'm not just saying y'all is in, not you specifically, just like the group.
You know who I'm thinking about?
I don't know who you thinking about. That's all.
Yeah, you do.
I really don't.
You ain't gonna say, you know.
I don't know who you thinking about, bro.
You know exactly what I'm thinking about.
They said one masculine trait is suppressing emotions or hiding your emotions.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one.
Why do men do that? Or think they need to do that?
You tell me. You the expert at it.
You know, I know all about like psychology and things like that.
No, you don't. You got a C in psychology freshman year, didn't you?
I gotta be.
No, you didn't.
I gotta be.
But anyway, I said you were the expert because it might. I can't remember who said it. It might. Was it?
I got it.
I'm not even gonna do that.
But
I feel like it's been indicated to me that you might be kind of an emotional suppression guy.
I think there's a difference between suppressing emotions and not going. I wouldn't say not going too deep, but just like knowing how you feel about something very concisely. I'm not one of the people that like, okay, this is how it is. I say my little 1 to 2 points about it. That's it with me. It's not really a suppression of emotions. It's more of knowing how to interact with your emotions. I think is also very important because everybody doesn't react to things the same way.
So would you say that you're an emotional guy, Byron?
Depending on how you define emotional, because emotional means a lot of things.
I would.
How do you define emotional?
I just think that if we go with how strongly feelings affect action, I think that your emotions, and not to differentiate you from it, there's nothing wrong with being an emotional person, but I think that your emotions definitely have a strong effect on the way that you act sometimes. Would you say that that's true?
Some emotions. I think I'm more of a, like if I'm super happy, I'm not going to go out of my way to like act on my happy emotions, I guess. But if it's something like where I just think somebody's wrong and I'm passionate about the topic or something like that, I'm going to have to air out, I don't know. Actually, no, I'm not emotional. I'm not an emotional person. I don't think I'm an emotional person.
Okay.
You the one that, you be riled up.
I think out of the two of us that's kind of I definitely think that's.
I'm not going to say what you did this week, but over this past probably 10 days. Do you think that was an emotional response with what you did with somebody in our group chat?
No, not necessarily, because
that wasn't an emotional response.
Because he did it to me first, and not even did that.
It doesn't matter.
Not even did that.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about what he did. But I said, was it an emotional response?
No, and I mean, God forgive me.
That was the emotional response. That was an emotional response.
That's an eye for an eye. That's an eye for an eye.
That's still an emotional response.
I'm forgiven, but no, that's an eye for an eye. No, that's not that.
A retaliation is still an emotional response.
If I give somebody a taste of their own medicine,
that's still an emotional response. You didn't have to do that.
Of course I didn't have to.
You wanted to do it because you were like, you want to feel dominant.
No, it doesn't even have anything. It doesn't have anything to do.
You want to assert yourself over someone else.
It doesn't have anything to do with
That's what it was an attempt of.
Which
goes back to your masculinity.
It has nothing to do with wanting to feel
feeling good within yourself.
It has nothing to do with wanting to feel dominant.
It did.
It had nothing to do with wanting to feel dominant. I just think that there are certain things that shouldn't be, just certain places that you ain't got to go. And
you didn't have to go to that place.
No, but I mean, if you go there with me and I get
they didn't go there with you that day. Damani, you carry something over from 4 months?
We can't do this much because they don't know what we're talking about.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Damani, I'm just saying you are an emotional person and you have a lot of these emotional responses that you take to heart. You take a lot of things to heart, and whether you show it
That's not
on,
taking it to heart though.
where you show it on your sleeve or what, you be doing that stuff, bro.
I don't think that's taking it to heart.
It was 100%.
No, I gotta disagree with you there.
Yeah, I guess that's all for that one. For that topic.
Go ahead and get to the last one then.
I don't know what you want to talk about with this.
Oh yeah, I forgot you don't watch.
I'm watching NFL.
But looking at it's about draft time. We got the draft coming up on the 29th.
Thursday, I thought. Is that right?
Yeah, it's Thursday.
Yeah, see, I told you I've been keeping.
You need to start paying more attention to stuff. Like
I just told you the date of the NFL draft. What else I need?
No, I mean there's 4 quarterbacks that are slated to go in the top 10, and you don't know probably 2 of them.
You got Lance dude, Justin Fields.
You didn't know him before.
Trey Lawrence and dude from BYU. I think the last name Wilson.
Trey Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence, my bad. I was speaking too fast. Trevor Lawrence.
Ah, okay. What's
Just got signed to Gatorade.
What's dude from BYU name?
Something Wilson. Give me a second.
Because you didn't know who Trey Lance was.
I know, but his last name Wilson, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Why does it matter?
I'm saying you don't know. You don't know 2 of them.
I just told you. Who don't I know?
Whatever Wilson's first name is.
So I gotta know his first name to know him?
You don't. Okay.
He had great stats last year. I don't think he's better than Justin Fields. And they're thinking about the Jets probably trying to take him.
Yeah, great stats last year.
Yeah, decent stats. Yeah, well, in some categories.
Okay. Tell me anything about him. Like literally anything.
People were talking about he wasn't a good teammate. I guess at the end of the football season, talking about. And then some of his teammates came to his defense about it. I keep up with certain things. It was all over Twitter. That's why I saw that.
We wanted to.
What's his first name though?
Zach.
Zach. I was about to say Mac, but I'm like that don't sound right. Zach. That makes sense. Yeah. I was thinking Mac that whole time. I'm like, no, it's not Mac Jones. But Zach. Yeah, Zach Wilson. Yeah.
Actually, well, yeah. If you put Jones in there, it could be 5 quarterbacks in the top 10. I didn't even think about that. But
Kyle Pitts going early too.
Look at you knowing things. Congratulations.
Hey, man.
But what I wanted to talk about specifically was the black quarterbacks. It just seemed like they've addressed, and I feel like that the media has played this up a little bit because they haven't said this much about it, but they've addressed some character issues as reasoning for Justin Fields dropping. Because, we've talked about him going as high as 2. He's not slated to go to the Kuiper, and most of the big wigs don't have him going 3rd to the Niners. They're saying he's going to drop to at least 8, probably 10.
Yeah.
Back farther than that if the Patriots pick him up at 10.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like this narrative is tired. Like it's really tired. The black quarterback being scrutinized for one reason or another. And I just think that if you look at Fields' record, it's clean.
Yeah.
It's clean. Ain't nothing on it.
Mm-hmm.
I really haven't heard much about Trey Lance, so I guess you 1 for 2 on that. But if we're looking at anybody that should be, and I won't even shed light on the reason, but Mac Jones had something in his past that I haven't heard brought up at all.
What do you have in his past? I'm not in there, so you may have to elaborate.
A little bit of the,
Nobody talked about it.
Tipsy,
Yeah,
swerving.
I got you.
Yeah, but I mean,
Nobody even brought that up.
I had to say it out loud. I forget we do this video and audio, but yeah, took a little bit of a tipsy drive at one point. And I'm just wondering, like, why, as a whole, do we continue to let this happen? Because we talk about it every year. Like, we talked about it with Lamar. We talked about everybody and their mama saying that, he was a running back, a receiver, and how they consistently do this with black QBs.
Yeah.
But I just don't know why. And that's my question for you, I guess, is why?
I think it's simple though. Why? At the end of the day, you have to look at who's evaluating them. And so people tend to diminish things that don't go with their typical ideologies and things like that. So they're going to favor towards something or someone that looks more like them at the end of the day. Whether they want to or not, typically that's what happens. So if you look at the NFL, whose majority of the scouts are not minorities, you look at the GMs are not minorities, look at the owners, not minorities. So when they see someone, they're like, okay, what's up with this guy? And then with the position of quarterback, which people think so highly of, they have an image of what they want their quarterback to look like. They want someone that looks like Peyton Manning. They want someone that looks like Tom Brady. They typically don't look at the people that look like Cam Newton. They look like Russell Wilson, things like that.
I thought you just meant tall people until you said Cam Newton.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. But like they have a image of what they want their quarterback to look like.
Yeah.
And so if you don't, just from the eye test, fit that image, they're going to try to find out little different chinks in the armor that they can pull on and things like that.
I think it's interesting because we look at, like I figure that obviously I wasn't alive in the 50s, but when the NBA started getting blacker, people said, nah, we don't really like that. When the NFL started getting blacker, of course people said, nah, we don't really like that. But we've gotten to the position of acceptance with every other position on the field, literally every other one. And when you get into the coaching ranks, obviously that's a whole another argument in itself because I don't think anybody has bridged the problem of whiteness in coaching like in any league. And I can't. I shouldn't say that. I'm saying I can't name one. I can't name one where it's happened. But if you look at positions in football, 21 out of the 22 of them, we're okay with them being black. But it seems like that centric position of quarterback, the most important position on the field, we still have a white lens for it. And I think that's weird.
Yeah, because that's what they see as the face of the team.
But, I mean, Bob Cousy was a point guard, and I'm thinking that when point guard started getting I would be willing to bet that when the point guard position started to get blacker, people was like, I don't like that. Yeah. But now we've just gotten to a point of acceptance. So does it have to be 32 black QBs in the NFL for them to finally say, all right, we get it. Y'all going to just go ahead and do what you got to do. We'll keep the coaches. Y'all go ahead and do what you got to do. Because the position has gotten blacker.
Yeah.
From Mahomes, Watson, like all of them that are playing right now, and I just don't, like, at what point, how many do we have to have?
I don't know, man.
And at that point, are they gonna try to like reclaim receiver or something? Like I don't get how it's gonna work out. But obviously, I think it's dumb, and I hope that I wish all of the quarterbacks the best in the league, but a particular well wish to Justin Fields, especially to Trey Lance, and every other black quarterback that's gonna go because it's just, to me, it is a ridiculous situation for them to be in. Hope they get all their bread and just kill it.
Yeah.
And you don't have much to add to that because you don't watch the league.
I don't know. I know Justin Fields. He had a good playoff. He had a good playoff. So yeah. I think he would have played a little better in the championship game if he didn't have the knee injury. But
I thought it was ankle.
Ankle, same thing.
But I could be wrong.
Thought it was knee. He'll be all right. He healthy now. Supposedly.
Regardless, he can make all the throws. I'm gonna use him on Madden. That's my new guy. Wherever he goes, that's my guy.
Is he a better quarterback than you are a defensive lineman?
Without a doubt, yes.
Would he be a better running back than you are a defensive lineman?
I don't know.
All right, I was just wondering, bro. I was saying to see where you land in the range.
With that's gonna just about do it for us. I'm sorry that I got a little bit animated. Byron tends to bring out just horribleness in really everybody, but me in particular. Thank y'all for rocking with us. We greatly appreciate it, Byron. I'll let you get the rest of the outro.
Yeah. Don't forget, Drake is better than Taylor Swift. I don't know why Damani came up with that stuff.
I agree with you, but I'm just...
Whoa. You said to me, you want me to end the show or you want to? I'll let you do if you want to.
Go ahead.
Damani said that Taylor Swift's better than Drake. I don't agree with that. None of us agree with that. But we appreciate all of y'all from YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of that.
I already said that. Excuse me.
I want to listen to you, bro.
Something in my throat.
But shout out to KT. Show Thief going to play us out. Appreciate y'all. See y'all next week. Have a good one.
When that pressure get applied, is you gon' pass it, you gon' shoot, I stood tall. When you make it through the struggle and the pain, do you get your umbrella off the chance that it might rain? I stood tall. Ooh, I stood tall. Ooh. try to count me out, but you ain't gonna ever hold me down. When I see my people going through it, I put the blame on me. And I see my homie lose his mind, but I gave him his first taste of lean. I ain't gonna lie, that really hurt me, but I had to close the curtains. And one thing I learned on Lion King is everybody gotta eat. Never tell a party, let me get a whole piece. Said, nah, little homie, can't get that from me. You play football, you got a bright future, you supposed to see you on the TV. And I said, that's true, and I'm gonna do it, but I really gotta make something happen. And I probably could've asked my family for something, but instead I started hitting licks with daddy. Ain't gonna lie, that turned me to a savage. Really living life like a bandit. And then Murph told me, keep your head on, man, don't do nothing reckless. But now I'm older now, I'm a grown man. Go to church every Sunday, I'm a praying man. You ain't gonna never see me fall, I'm always standing. One thing I do is stick to the plan.